talking to Chris from Orpheus Omega from Melbourne. Chris, thanks for taking the time to have a chat with me today.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
Good to have you on. Now, we've got a number of things to work through. Firstly, just give us a bit of a recap on how you guys have been doing in recent times. What have you been doing? How restricted were you in what you could do, or did it not have any effect on you?
I guess up until recently, being in Victoria, I feel like it definitely hit us musically a bit harder than some of the other states. I mean, everyone had their on and off times, but ours was like, all right, okay, things are opening up, get going again, and we're closed again, and get going again, and we're closed again. So I think by like the second time where that gap happened, we just resigned ourselves to, okay, well, let's have weekly band meetings through like Discord, Zoom, whatever. And let's start writing. Let's just start planning out what the band is going to be doing when we can, we kept a lot of our content and interactions up as much as possible during lockdowns. The most important thing to us is always our interaction with our fans, because quite frankly, without that, we'd just be chilling in the garage, playing music to each other. So the second we had the opportunity to actually get our, well, I guess it was 3 shows left of the Bleed the Way anniversary tour, which we did, and we finally got to do in February. 3 of the 5 shows that were booked and postponed, I guess 4 or 5 times or whatever it was, finally happened. I think that was the first time it felt normal again for us, like especially playing like a packed out home show in Melbourne. It was just like, oh, that's right. Melbourne and Victoria really does turn out. And, just reminded us that, I guess, even through everything, music persists, people's love of music persists, and we're all sort of there together in it. So it was just a nice reminder, that everyone's still there.
It is weird going to the first show in quite a while, though, isn't it? Because you're a bit dubious about how much fun you're allowed to have.
Well, we all caught COVID after our tour, so I think that might imply how much fun we had. Obviously, like I said, we try to be. We're a very interactive, like affectionate bunch of people. So we're always like, if there's fans that we know and friends and people that we haven't seen in ages, it's like, you're getting a hug. Like, I'll take the COVID. It's fine. Like, these are people we haven't seen in 2.5 years. And, it's just really hard not to celebrate that when you get the opportunity to do it again. So yeah, we had a really, really good time. And I think pretty much like almost all restrictions were off at that point, like for the most part. So it was pretty good. It was nice to have a sense of like, people were still being careful as well. Like there were people who still showed up in masks, even though it wasn't mandated. And, I think that was like the right thing to do for anyone who's sort of worried about their health and whatnot. It's just, especially people who might work in health sectors and stuff. So it was good that people were taking some like personal responsibility to be like, I want to be at gigs. I'm going to take my own personal health responsibility, but still be there. I thought that was really cool. So it was just nice to see people really.
Yeah. Is the lineup still the same as before Corona?
So the lineup we had, we apart from obviously having to unfortunately ditch Sydney and Canberra, given that they were sort of going through their own restrictions and stuff, the lineups we had on Melbourne, Ballarat, Geelong, we kept the same lineup. We fought really hard even after 4 postponements. So I do have to say a massive thanks and a massive props to all the bands who played, because they just soldiered on and worked with us start to finish, and that really, really meant a lot.
I wasn't clear on the question, but it's good that you answered that question. The lineup within the band, the personnel in the band.
Yeah, right. So we did have one lineup change, but that was sort of something that was, I guess, in progress pre-lockdowns. But basically, Joao was at a point where, founding member with me in the band, he's got a career in social work now. He's sort of just really delved into that, and that's where his passion is at the moment. And he kind of came to me with the mentality of like, look, my heart's sort of in this place right now, and I think you guys are sort of moving forward in a way that I can't sort of keep up with, and maybe this is my time. And then we kind of had a whole bunch of tours and stuff that were meant to be happening. Then lockdowns happened. We worked on an album, and then Joao sort of officially stepped down, which was like a really smooth process, to be honest. Like, it was a bittersweet having it happen at the time it did, but We got Luke on board, who was in Trigger, and he's an incredible dude that I feel like there's no one else we really would have considered. And luckily, when he joined and before Joao sort of stepped down officially, both of them got to do the Bleed the Way tour together. So it was a nice little passing of the torch that we got to do. So in the weirdest way, there was not, apart from obviously missing Joao being in the band, it was like a really positive process. I think if anything, it really pushed us to reinforce the fact that we really wanted the band to keep going. Like Joao left, we found someone who basically feels like family anyway, and we just kind of kept going, like even more so. So it was really, really a positive process. Really, the lineup change was in no way instigated by any bad stuff. It was actually all positive, which was great. It was nice during especially a time like what we've had.
Okay, now you mentioned recording. What's happening in there? What's happening with that?
I can't say too much at the moment, but effectively there is definitely stuff in the works. Probably more than we expected, which is great. I don't know, hopefully that's a good thing for people. We will be, I guess, shedding more light on that as the next tour comes up and we have more to say. At the moment, it's just been really all pistons firing on writing. And just, getting, now that we can get back together, like just getting into the room and having some proper pre-production and stuff, like just having all the dudes around playing parts together where we can really sink our teeth into the new material. That's been really fun. I will say, I think that got me through sort of the back end of 2021. And it's been really, I guess, like a bit of a shifting gears for us, but it's been a really good shifting gears. Like, I think we feel just super comfortable with the challenges that we're putting towards ourselves musically at the moment.
Right. Now we've got an interesting tour coming up with our friends BE'LAKOR and Andy Gillion. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's it's a dream lineup, to be honest. We've obviously played with BE'LAKOR before. They played with us for the launch of Pardon Vina Mortem, actually back in 2015 as well, which was probably one of my favorite shows that we've played at the Corner Hotel. And this time around, we get to join them on the tour for their album, and we get to be joined by one of like our closest friends and an absolute powerhouse in his own right, Andy Gillion. He's performing stuff of his solo album that he's never gotten to perform, which is awesome. So I think it's I don't know, for me, as a, I guess, mellow death fan, that kind of, that general sort of style of music that the three bands are doing in their own way, I would be a fan of this lineup. So when it got put to us that this was the package that the band was looking to have, I was just like, of course, like this is a no-brainer. Like we absolutely have to do this. And the response so far has been pretty incredible. So, I mean, it's what we were hoping would be the case. We were like, I wonder if, is it going to be as awesome as we think it is, or are people going to be like, yeah, it's okay? But no, luckily it's definitely met expectations, which is awesome. Really, really looking forward to it.
What have you guys got in store for that one? Going to be playing any new tracks or doing a
bit of a best of? No.
Yeah, that's what I was searching for. Yeah.
It kind of kills me that we're that far into our sort of music that like we could probably put together a best of. It's just depressing. But no, we actually have a really exciting set list for this one. We've really back and forthed about it a fair bit. Sorry, my cat's just going to be in speed for a bit. Why not? Take that screenshot and people will just be like, cat, and then I think the set list that we have is like both something we think is going to stand out, like especially against like the two incredible sort of acts that we're playing with. I think it's a set list that's going to stand out in its own way, but I think it's also a stage show and I guess a presence that the band is going to put forward that no one's seen before. So I think that's what's really exciting for us, is I think we're just going sort of like both feet, both hands, head first into some stuff that we've never tried before. So I think that's the exciting part of this. It's definitely an Orpheus Omega that I don't think anyone has seen before, which is exciting because after doing this for so long, it's nice to still be in a position where it all feels new, it all feels fresh, and there's like new ideas being thrown around the band, especially from a live standpoint, that we're just like, what if we do this? What if we do this? So I think it's probably going to be, at least for us, probably the most sort of special set we've put together, especially for something that, like, we're not headlining, like it's BE'LAKOR's tour, and I still think that we're going to be able to put something out there that's like really special and unique to itself as well. So I'm really keen.
And that's in early August here in Adelaide, August the 6th, the 12th up in Brisbane, 20th in Melbourne at the Good Old Corner, and then Canberra and Sydney as well. Looking forward to that. That's going to be nuts, man.
Yeah, it's like, the dream lineup of dates, dream shows. Like, they're all all the venues are sick, all the places are sick. Like, it's going to be nice to be back on the road again. Like, I'm actually looking forward to the 8-hour drive to Adelaide. Like, it's just like it's just that one road, and you're just going for like that whole time. But like, I miss it. I think that's the best part, is like being. When we have to fly, we'll fly, but usually we'll make the effort to like road trip it, because yes, as I was saying, like, for us, the group of people in the band, it's family first. Like, we always treat the band that way. It's not just like 5 of us who get together to play music. You know what I mean? Like, we're friends first, and then the music is an extension of like our personalities and friendship. So as cramped and as a pain in the ass as it is sometimes to do those drives, like Canberra, Sydney, back, Adelaide, etc., it's like the fun part for us. Like, the shows are obviously the best bit, but being able to spend 8 hours cracking jokes, telling good stories, making memories, like, we look forward to that, and we missed it a lot.
What's your favorite place to play? Venue, not city.
Venue. Okay, I'm gonna absolutely have a favorite, and I feel like I hate being biased, but I just have kind of my 2 fondest memories would probably be the Corner Hotel and 170 Russell in Melbourne. I don't know. Every venue has different vibes. Like, there are so many places around the country, and some that don't exist anymore, unfortunately. But I guess as far as venues that are still around and that I've just had some really fond memories and shows at, and I don't know, it's just like one of those like vibe things where the venue just feels right to play. I don't know. But 170 Russell's probably the big one. Every time I walk in there, like, we've never like headlined a show there or anything. Like, we've always been a support and whatnot, and we've taken part in some pretty awesome gigs there. But it just feels like home. Like, every time I've walked in there, it's just like, I don't know, I just feel like very welcomed, and it just feels the energy of that room. And also, I've been a fan who's gone to gigs there that have been some of my favorite gigs. So it's a fairly biased point, but yeah, it's one of my favorite venues.
Yeah, okay. Only been there once myself, but that was a good night too.
Yeah, awesome.
Chris, horns in the camera for us. Come on. That's the way. Thanks for chatting to us. Looking forward to seeing you guys with BE'LAKOR and Andy Gillion in August. Can't wait for that. Thanks for talking to me, and be back in touch when you've got a new album to talk about.
Thank you so much, and I absolutely will. Hopefully sooner than later. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on today.
No worries. Thanks, mate. You have a good one.
Cheers, dude.